Hey V, line them up.
What's good, CBR fam? We got another installment of the CBR ready for y'all tonight. We got Steven Saltzman coming on shortly. I see you already, CJ. Free Keno. Yeah, man. Make your homeboy get here on time, man. You really want to free him, then go get the boy. Shout out to everybody who was early birds, man. Shout out to Ro, Tuck, cousin Dimitri and Tuck. We love y'all. John Jones, Trailer Park Chondros, man. What's good, man? I like your son got a mullet too, keeping the tradition going. I like seeing shit like that. What up, Trey? What up, Chris from Innerbox? We got Didi. We got Carly. I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna run this commercial from Chris. She said, "Travis, are we going out to go to you?" Oh, actually, man, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I fucked my beard up. Like last Sunday, I was trying to shape that shit. No dice. I don't know what was happening. I had the Muhammad Ali hands with the Michael J. Fox drizzle on it. I fucked my goatee up. So I just shave all that shit. You just got this shit right here now. We gonna show you this commercial from Chris from Innerbox. Get up with my man Chris from Innerbox 3D if you're looking for some 3D printed snake goods. I'm using those 3D perch holders on all my new cages that I got sitting up right now. But they work pretty well, man. I can't even lie. I love them things. Just snap in real easy, nice, smooth fit. You're going to love them. But y'all should be hounding this man Chris to get y'all a new commercial, show you the new stuff he got. So if y'all in the comments, tell Chris to hurry up and make a new commercial. So Kendall gonna be here shortly. Uh, also, speaking of Carly, man, we got Chondro Classifiers from Carly. And just remember, man, you don't really gotta know us to get on Chondro Classifiers. You just gotta send us pictures of your snakes and we'll put them up. That's all you really gotta do. We try and help everybody out, try and get your snakes off. We know how it go. And we know how tedious morph market can be. We know how aggravating it can be to talk to people that don't really want a chondro, but they seem like they want one. So fuck with us, man. If you got pictures that you want to put up. So let's show Carly's babies that she got up that she's unloading. Look, that's a beautiful red baby with a nice and big old head. That's a beautiful baby. And this one's from Popcorn / Sissy times Lucia / Duffman times Biak. That's a lot to say. That's a lot. That's a lot to put on a genealogy chart. Too much for me. And then we got the yellow baby. That's a beautiful yellow baby right there. Don't sleep on them yellow babies, man. I'm telling you. I know what people be saying, but don't sleep on the yellow baby. It's from the same clutch, just yellow baby. Gorgeous baby. And if you want to get up with Carly, hit her up at Coastal Morelia on IG, and she's got more in store. Yeah, so if you got Chondro Classifieds, man, just send it over. We'll put it up for you. What else we got besides that, man? Also, man, shout out to Carly for the graphics that she did for the show, for the logos that she did. I know some of y'all have seen them. You're gonna be seeing more of it. She did my new logo, so shout out to Carly. We're gonna do a MVF deep dive. What we got? She said popcorn's yellow. High yellow babies for them yellow neos. Dimitri Fremontini. Hey man, y'all ain't done seeing Joe Montini over here. So, get used to it. you're gonna see the man again. If you got any type of feelings about Joe Montini, this might not be the place for you to bring your ass over at. Also, we're gonna get into this MVF deep dive. So we got a post from 2020, quite a recent post, and it's a short post, but we're gonna speak to it. So in the comments right now, if anybody's got anything that they want to add to keeping Neos in tubs, incoming Neos, whether it be import or captive bred, put your 2 cents in, run it down with us. What's up, Salad? So from Aaron Clark from June 2020, his comment was, well, his post was he switched to a tub after having issues with Exoterra. And from the sounds of it, he modified the top of it, but he was still having shedding issues. And he had a PVC that he was planning on using, but he felt like the PVC might not necessarily uh, this man said we're gonna have Seabird shirts and thongs. I don't know who wearing them thongs. Uh, but what he did was he put the tub in the PVC cage. The problem is that he didn't typically like the gradient. He also did not like how the PVC cage didn't dry out in 24 hours. That's something I'm gonna come back to in a little bit. He got one reply, and someone suggested using heat tape in an L style, um, covering the heat tape with HVAC tape. And I think that's a good idea. What's going on, Kevin Warren? So the way I do it is I take a tub and I make an L and I put one on the top and then I put one directly behind it on the side. And I just run it like that. And I've never actually had a problem with that. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Now, let's get into exoterras, man. You can use an exoterra. You can totally use an exoterra. There's some things that you got to have going on if you're going to use exoterra. You need to have good humidity. You can't use substrate that's going to hold water and turn into mildew and mold. You don't really want that. And you are going to have to modify that thing. Depending on how you're going to modify, it's going to be different in everybody's case. But you can use an exoterra. Now, keeping neos in tubs, man, I do love keeping neos in tubs when I first get them, at least acclimate them, even for quarantine. Love keeping neos in tubs. And keeping over paper towels too, so I can monitor what's coming out of that animal. Um, and tubs are, if something goes wrong in that tub, like let's say that, you get the animal in, you have it for a couple days, it gets nido tested, nido test comes back, that thing is positive, and you got to get rid of the animal, you can get rid of that tub too, man. You can get rid of that heat tape too. It's not super expensive to just get rid of a tub setup for the most part. Keep that thermostat, but if you want to get rid of all the shit in that tub, you can get rid of it. Also, animals, once you get neos in, whether import or captive bred, man, sometimes they just gonna go through some things when they get to you, and they may not eat off the bat. They may actually come to you and stop eating just from shipping or whatever. And the last thing you want to do, in my opinion, is have it in a space too big where it doesn't feel secure. Even when you go to the zoo, uh, how long do you keep wet paper towels? I don't keep for neos. I keep the paper towels wet for neos that I have. I keep them wet only for consistently for like maybe 3 months, and then they go to a more stable spraying schedule. But what was I saying, man? Uh, when I put animals in tubs, man, I'm looking to see certain things with these neos, and I really do appreciate it. But I've seen neos go places and the tubs are just too big, man. They're just too big. We're not PVCs. A lot of people they get a chondro, and the first thing in mind is they want to turn it into a giant exhibition. They want to put it someplace, where it just isn't feeling secure. Even, and this is what I was gonna say is, even when you go to the zoo, right, and you see snakes at the zoo, the only snakes you see in big enclosures where they're wide open are the big snakes. For the most part, the snakes are covered top, bottom, back, and you can only see through the front. And you can barely see through the front when you see most snakes at the zoo because they're covered in foliage. And you got to think about that too, man. When you get neo setups, give them some plastic plants, man. Go ahead, give them some plastic plants. Let them let them you know have some cover. You don't really want them to be out in the open. They do a lot better. And I've had neos that I've gotten that were well established neos, and just all of a sudden, boom, don't want to eat for a while. You got to readjust, get that thing going. It's much easier to do it when it's in the tub. Uh, and if you want to keep it in an elaborate setup when you first get it, that's on you, man. Like, I'm not here to tell you not to, but most people that have been doing this for a while, they're probably gonna tell you, you know, rein it in, rein your expectations that in, put it in the tub, take care of it, and run it like that. As far as spraying schedule goes, once they get to be about 3 months old, there's no real need to keep them wet all the time. There's no need to keep that paper towel wet all the time, and you probably gonna end up having some issues, some skin issues, and things like that. I keep neos over water. Um, I like keeping it over water, for a month or so. This last clutch I had, I didn't keep them over water. I put them straight over paper towels. I got tired of dealing with it. When you keep snakes over water, you constantly change that water. You're gonna change that water either every day or every other day, but you're gonna keep changing it. And if you got to go somewhere, it just doesn't really work. But that's one thing that you have as luxury with tubs, as opposed to bringing in a new Neo and putting in a giant PVC cage. You really can't do that. You can flood a puppy pad, get it super wet. You can do that, but it's pretty much however you want to run it. I would say to you, if you have questions about bringing in a Neo or an import or whatever, and you want to ask somebody that's been doing this longer than you. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna tell you put that thing in the tub. And don't be ashamed of it, man. Don't be ashamed of having the snake in the tub. I mean, some people are tub warriors. They're gonna keep tubs to the animal goes. I'll keep it to you. I'll tell you this, because this literally just happened on Sunday, Saturday going into Sunday. I took a snake, uh, an adult male, a biot, and I took him out of a tub. And he had been in the tub. And mind you, he's bred and done everything and stayed in the tub just because he's a fucking dickhead. And he just doesn't seem to do well in large space. And this is one of my only males that only eats live. And if he wasn't producing babies, he wouldn't get no damn live meals. But it is what it is. You gotta treat your stars how you treat your stars. But he does much better in tubs. And he's super chill, easy to go. I put him in a brand new PVC cage, and it has a weird gap in it for where you put the heat panel cord, and I had to widen it a little bit, but I didn't think that this motherfucker would be able to get out of it. I come into my snake room on Sunday morning. I didn't look up. I looked down, and he was on the ground. And it's just a thing about certain animals. No matter how old they get, no matter how big they get, they just feel more secure in tubs and rack systems. But that's all I'm gonna give you on that right there. Uh Jeffy, shut your ass up. Um we got Tuck. Tuck says tubs are the way. LOL, just gotta control the airflow. Trailer park chondros want to get some nice PVC cages. We already addressed what Carly said. Jaffy's over here acting crazy. Salamander said I rock with Exoterra for 15 years. While I only had one chondro, shit changes when you have more than to take care of. Yeah, that's true. When you got more chondros to take care of, you probably don't necessarily want to be fiddling around with the Exoterra and trying to make sure that the humidity is just right and not too much water. But that's it that we got for that topic. We're gonna get straight into it, man. So, man, this is his first time here. First time I had a conversation with Saltzman was about 2 years ago. What's up, brother Pat? And we're gonna bring the man in. Representing Texas, we a Cosmic Chondros.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, man?
So where's your partner in crime?
He probably somewhere, rubbing baby oil on his chest, trying to track a midget in the alley, some shit like that. He'll be here eventually. His ass will be over here eventually. But it'll just be me and you for a little bit. But he gonna get over here. He's already in the chat talking shit. Uh, but yeah, man, how you been?
Good, good.
Good, good. All right, man.
Trying to get this year's breeding season going.
Hey, man, congratulations on your clutch this year.
Yeah, that was December of last year. So they're actually they're some of them are just starting to change colors now. So we're just starting to see the beginnings of OCC from the first clutch. Pretty exciting. Arguably one of the funnest times to own a chondro.
Yeah, I tell you, hold on to many of them as possible, man. And with your first clutch, man, this is my advice: enjoy it as much as possible. Don't get caught up on them eating and none of that shit. Just enjoy 'em. But man, can you give us some background information about Steven Saltzman, and we'll go from there.
Background. I've been keeping reptiles most of my life. I got into them when I was little. Obsessed with my brother's 50/50 Cow King. Um, I tried to convince my parents to get me a reptile when I was, I don't know, 5 or 6. They wouldn't do it. So I had to kind of work my way up to that. I ended up getting a green iguana when I was 9. And grew it up to be a real big animal, 6 foot, adult, big male. And I fell in love with reptiles and have been ever since. As soon as I started making money, I started getting reptiles. And at one point, I probably had, I don't know, 40, 50 different species in my care. But then, life happened. I had a kiddo when I was pretty young at 19. You got to struggle, you got to make things happen. So I ended up having to get rid of all of that and just kind of grind for a long time. But then back in 2017, things were stable, life was good. I was ready to get back into my hobby, and I kind of decided I didn't want to just do it as a hobby. I wanted to do some kind of breeding. It was a goal to produce something. So I thought the best way I could do that was to kind of focus on one thing. And it was just around that time that I had gotten a little yellow neo maniquari off of a website. I think it's what was it? Sunrise Reptiles or something.
Yeah, I know
Um,
Sunrise Reptiles. What up,
yeah,
Big Fish?
and I mean, luckily it was a wonderful animal. Did great. It's the animal that kind of made me fall in love with the species. I loved watching it, and then I got into the MVF, the old one, and
Yeah.
started digging through there. And through that, I ended up finding, Greg Maxwell's book. I found the community through Facebook, and it's just kind of been history from there. Because not only did I fall in love with the animals, I fell in love with the community, and it was just a wonderful thing. Everyone just kind of lifts each other up. They celebrate things together. We go through losses together. Yeah, how many times have you seen when someone passed? We're pulling funds together for their family. Like we are kind of our own family. Um, and yeah, get out of here, cats in here bugging me. Um, so yeah, it's kind of been history since then. I started running one of the biggest forums on Facebook and um, learned a lot that way. Just digging into every post, every comment, making enemies, making friends. You learn. It's a long learning process. It's actually what helped me meet my wife as well. We both kept reptiles. We met in oh, can't remember the group's name. It was something Pythons, positive Pythons, something like that.
I
But
thought you were gonna say Reptile Mingle or something like that.
yeah, it was just some random group for all different reptile keepers. I lived in Cali at the time, and she lived here, and we started flying back and forth to go to reptile shows in each other's area, and one thing led to another, and now we're married. And this is our mutual snake room, so it's pretty cool to have a wife who shares the same love, same hobby. It's also really nice that we keep separate species. I think we'd be at each other's throats if we were both keeping green trees.
What it seems like it sometimes, but it's just like I don't know. My wife don't give a shit about my snakes. She just occasionally she'll come in the garage and she'll look at a cage and she'll be like, "Why is that cage empty?" That's always the first thing that comes to her mind is why is this cage empty? Um,
I'm trying to make money, honey.
she knows that's not true. she knows that's not true. Uh, but yeah, man. So you're not from Texas. You're from Cali.
Well, I actually was born here. Um, I moved to Cali when I was 8, 9 years old, and then
Okay.
finally came back. And I now live like less than 15 miles away from where I was born.
Okay. What part of Texas you live in?
I'm in Hockley right now,
Okay. Is that close to
which
Houston?
is near Cypress, which is
Okay.
the bigger
Cypress,
city.
Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um. Yeah, man. I'm not from Texas. I live in Texas. I love Texas. But yeah, I guess I lived in Texas when I was
What part
really
are you in?
little. I live in San Antonio, man.
Okay.
So I live
Yeah,
in
it's
San
crazy
Antonio.
because you hear people live in Texas and you're like, oh man, we should hang out sometime, or I should
Yeah,
visit their collection, and then you look how far away they are. 7 hour
4 hours,
drive. What?
8 hours, 9 hour drive. I just recently drove from here to Oklahoma, and it was like, was it 8 or 9 hour drive? Most of it was in Texas, besides an hour of it, and I was like, shit, man. But yeah, man, I love
Yeah,
Texas. It's big as hell.
I'm gonna be hitting the road to head up to Waco next Thursday. Meet up with Bill Stagel. We're doing a little baby swap.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope, man. I got a Stiegel baby not too long ago. Well, it was about a year ago. I love
Nice.
that thing.
Yeah, he
Um,
charges too much money. I don't think I could buy one, but I sure as hell trade one with them.
hey, man, he gonna get that blood up out you.
Yeah. So I mean, I've always wanted some sickness blood, and I've always wanted some Soul Train blood, and this is kind of killing two birds with one stone here. So
Yeah, good animals, beautiful, two beautiful animals. Um, so let's talk about you and where you started once you got the chondros. How'd you start keeping them at first once you started getting chondros in?
I
What was
mean,
your husbandry like? What were your first few chondros like?
so when I first started, I actually started off kind of the typical like everyone else does, an Exoterra,
Yep,
screen
just like the
top,
rest of us.
heat lamps, grapevine that was molding in there, and water at the bottom. I think I even had a water feature in there. I want to say, all the same mistakes and folly that everyone falls into when they first start out.
Just trying to do
Um,
too much.
yeah, but I figured it out quickly. I struggled a little bit with that animal. We had bad sheds. It was a little difficult. And then the second I switched over to Cambro tubs, it was like magic overnight switch. It was like it was more hydrated. It was getting better sheds. It was eating better. I was like, oh, okay. So this is the way. And, and now you can see. Yeah, I don't know if you want to
Yeah, go ahead, man. Show us what you want to show us.
see. Start over there. So kind of the old side of the incubator. Let's see. Trying to do this. Got my sea serpents hot box incubators. We got the 48 down here, and then the 24 up top. A few clutches in there right now. And then the baby rack. That's AP. I don't have any chondros in there right now. So it's just got my wife's little baby. She got some colubrid babies in there right now. And then got my wall focus cube.
How many animals you got in focus cubes over there?
What's that?
How many animals you got in focus cubes back there?
So the top row was made by Focus Cubes. The other ones were the PVCcages.com from Jim Sharphorn. Let me see if I can turn the camera.
What up, Sal? My brother.
This is hard to navigate this camera backwards. And then on the other side, you've got my wife's retics. She's got her 6-footers, then some 4-footers over here. And then back over there, she's got her juvie racks, baby racks. So we've got a little paradise here.
Man, your wife got the big snakes and you got the little ones.
Yeah, this actually isn't even our only reptile room. This is the main reptile room, but we do have another guest room filled with her biggest girls. We just simply call it the big girl room. She's got crested geckos down in her office. We've got leopard geckos in the living room. And then I keep my baby chondros in the master closet, the walk-in closet.
How many kids you got, man?
How many? I've got 2. I've got a 17-year-old that's about to be 18. And I have a 4-year-old.
Okay. They like the animals?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, my 4-year-old. Teenagers don't like anything.
Man, my daughter, she'll come out there and she'll see a snake and she'll want to hold it, but it's always the ones that I don't want her to hold. But my daughter always thinks that she should be holding babies, but my son, he don't give a shit, man. He don't care. He just, you show him a snake, he just starts mumbling and he goes finding some shit to go break, man. That's pretty much how my son is. He don't care about nothing. Not even his safety. So after that, man, your first few chondros, man, what were they like? What were you trying to get in, and how'd you try to get in?
So I had that Maniquari, so that was the first locality that kind of jumped out at me. And then when you get in and you actually see what like the red neos turn out like, and the melanism and the high blues, I was like, all right, I need more of these. So I ended up getting a hold of Vitaly Romanov over at Veritas Python. Got one of his Maniquari females from his 2018 pairing, some F1. That thing, oh my God, it had like a really dark phase and went through melanism and then high blues, and like I was just like, all right, so I need more of that. And then I tried to figure out where more of that comes from, and then I got into the blue line stuff and melanistic lineages and started digging through pedigrees, and I ended up finding somebody that was getting out of the hobby at the time. I want to say it was like Bay Shore Arboreals or something like that. Anyhow, I ended up getting Luna, who's one of the most concentrated blue line animals in existence.
You got them from James Smith?
No. It was James. I can't remember his last name. It was James, but it wasn't James Smith. So I may be thinking of the wrong name, but anyhow, She's actually the one that gave me my first clutch. That was the third snake I got. Dove right into designers. And then after that, I just kept getting more designers, more Maniquari, and that's pretty much all I have now. It's either blue, black, or Maniquari.
Okay. Okay. So, how easy was it procuring your collection as it is right now? Because you got some beautiful animals.
I do. It was not. I mean, people get in all the time and they make their little post. Oh, looking for high blue, looking for high yellow females. PM me. Like that's not gonna get you anywhere.
Nah.
I had to hound people and sit in their DMs and laugh at their jokes
Nah,
and
you can't do all that, Steven. You can't do all that.
but no, I did. I mean, I networked and I made friends and I pushed and in some cases I bribed and I did whatever I needed to do to get the animals I wanted.
I feel you. Steven Saltzman, the true Chondro politician out here. He gonna do what it does. Um, so who's who did you have as a mentor, like helping you guide your collection, man? Or did you just decide on your own, this is what I want to do, and things like that?
But from early on, I had been in contact with Gary Shavino, and he's kind of been a big mentor of mine, a friend of mine over the years. Um, for all things Maniquari and just general knowledge. And then I've had the luck of being good friends with Francis Gatan, who's been a really good mind to pick for things to do with designer pedigree. And then when it came to breeding, honestly, I have to give huge props to Patrick Holmes on
Shout
that
out to
one.
Pat.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I joke with him that he hatched that clutch via Facebook Messenger. I mean, he just sat there and went over every detail for
My
hours.
first one too. Yeah, he was always available when you needed him to, man.
Yeah,
My first and second one, I gotta say, I owe it all to Pat, man.
and then I have to give a shout out to Stephen Brown. He runs that Facebook page with me. Um, he's a little up there in years these days. And I don't. It's not keeping really anymore. He might have one or two, but him seeing something in me and elevating me to the admin for that page has really been the platform that helped me spread my name, helped me learn, helped me do everything. So you know, I big shout out to him and everyone else who's helped me along the way. There's a million people. I mean, it takes a community, it takes a village.
Yeah. Um, so as you went on and you first started getting your animals, in like, how did you decide what to pair and like what was your cycling like? If you did any cycling, shit, all my clutches. Oh, my clutches a lot to Pat. Everybody owes Pat, man. We all in Pat's debt. So once you started getting the animals in and you started deciding what you want to do and you picked a direction, how'd you decide what to pair and cycling and things like that, and how'd that whole that time period go from where you were keeping to you got to the point where you want to breed? Like what things that you learned that helped you get to that point?
I mean, I kind of had that goal from early on when I started collecting them to eventually breed them. But having read in Greg Maxwell's book about like not just showing up with babies and having something to sell, but actually contributing to the community and putting in the legwork, it kind of resonated with me, and so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get all babies. I think the oldest animal I got was like a year old. Everything else was babies. So I've raised all these animals from neonates pretty much back in 2018, 17, 19. So it was a really slow process. And during those 4 or 5 years where I was waiting for them to grow up, I was learning. I was digging. I was researching. I was watching what other people were doing. And I eventually landed on deciding to try food cycling. Just from what I had heard, it seemed like the safest route, possibly avoid respiratory infections and whatnot that you might deal with temp cycling. So that's kind of what I've been doing. But you know, to do that, you also have to kind of time it right with that female's time of the year. And you know, I didn't really know that my first time, a couple times going at it. So my first actual 2 seasons didn't turn up anything. And I've just slowly been learning my animals, trying to pay attention to them, you know, watch for males' behavior when they're going off food and being restless, and when females are changing color hues, or they're starting to change where they're wanting to bask, or their feeding habits, you know, and little by little I'm learning. And you know, my first clutch was a huge learning experience. Hoping to take some of that and apply it to the next round. So right now I actually have that same pair together, Singularity and Luna, some high-end blue line calico. All signs are pointing to them having another clutch. She bounced back really quick, doing really great. She's young. So I said, hey, why not? You never know what happens with chondro. So let's get some more babies, awesome, awesome babies before anything crazy happens. And then I've got some beautiful, beautiful Manicori. That first girl that I got from Vitaly Romanov. She's actually paired up with a boy from Gary Shavino right now, and they've been going at it like crazy. And then I've got a couple more females that I'm planning to pair later this year, but they weren't showing any signs of development, and they weren't locking with any males. Even though my males have been going crazy, none of them were locking with them. So pulled them off food. They're going to be off food for the next 2 to 3 months. Then I'll start hitting them real heavy and pairing up. See if I can get some luck in the fall, winter.
So when you started pairing, man, how long did you keep your animals together? And what were you and what did you incubate your eggs on, and around what day did they hatch?
Uh, so hold on. That first question, because you went from the adults to the babies. What was that again about
So
the adults?
the adults, when you were actually breeding them, how long did you keep your animals together? Did you break them up to feed them? Did you feed them together? And once you
I've done
guys
a,
finally,
I've experimented a little bit with both, because you know, at first I was real nervous about it, so I would separate them every time I wanted to feed them. Um, you know, I'd keep them together for 4 days a week, something like that, and then separate them for whoever needs to feed. Give them a few days break, back together. Especially if there's going to be some rain or you know, low pressure systems in the area. I want to make sure they're together during that, because you know, low pressure systems equal lovey-dovey snakes. And then as far as incubating, I did suspended over really, really saturated perlite. Uh, they sat on light diffuser that was just a few inches above the heavily saturated perlite. I incubated them at 87.1 for the first, I want to say 40-ish days, until they started heating up a little bit and denting. And then I dropped them a degree, I believe, is what I did. Or no, yeah, about a degree. And then once they started pipping, I dropped them another degree, so they were at 85 as they were coming out of the egg.
Okay. Okay.
Um, they ended up pipping on day 50. Oh man, I want to say 54. So they were a few days late, and I attribute that to being at a slightly lower temperature than some people do.
Yeah.
But it's always been my experience with chondros that cooler, erring on the side of cooler is better for everything, for babies, for adults, for the eggs, because they're a lot more tolerant of lower end temperatures than they're going to be of being too high.
Yeah. I would probably say that. I would say this though, as they are incubating, um, heat is, to me, in my opinion, like heat is a big factor. Uh, and whether you're gonna do it lower or higher, be consistent about it. Um, that's what I would say about it, especially with the eggs. But yeah, man. So once you so past that 54 is right on time for that tip. So once you got your animals, man, how did it feel to first had your first clutch, man?
I can't even explain it. I mean, I did quite a few drugs in my youth, and I gotta say, none of them equaled to that feeling. It was a very different kind of buzz. Like my skin was tingling. Like if you experienced the same thing, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I was giddy with excitement. When I was moving them, I was actually shaking so hard. I thought I was gonna drop them. Uh, yeah, I actually did everything on the floor when I was like moving them and transferring them and taking pictures and stuff. I did it on the floor because I was shaking so bad. I thought that I was going to drop them, so I didn't want to do it up on the cart or anywhere where I could drop them.
Once they out of the egg, man, you realize they are little and they are kind of fragile, but they are giant assholes, man. But I think that once you first have your first ones, you're just like, damn. You look at them and you're just like, these things, these things are so fragile,
Mhm.
but they really aren't, man. And you're gonna see them do some wild shit as really small neos too. But just looking at them when they first come out with that new baby sheen, man.
Mhm.
I agree with you. It ain't no better feeling than that. They're just so shiny and beautiful, and just it takes a long time to uh get your first clutch in most cases, man. And you think about all the feedings, all the cleanings, water changes, and all that attributes to that, man. So it's a big feeling. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So you had some pretty sought after babies, man. What
I
was
did.
that like?
So I think that all added to the pressure. How long I took to do all this, this buildup of 5, 6 years put in. Um, the fact that I do have a lot of friends in the community, so I have a lot of people watching what I'm doing. I've always kind of presented myself as somebody who's competent and knowledgeable, and so I was deadly afraid of hitting that point and just failing miserably, and putting my tail between my legs and running off like I've seen a million people do. It's easy to do when you get to that point because they're hard. It's not easy.
It's not easy. Look
Hey,
who
don't be,
finally showed up.
hey, don't be tucking your tail. Don't be tucking your tail, Steven.
45 minutes
No,
later. This
nope,
motherfucker.
Hey
none
man,
of that.
Cash. Hey,
So
Cash just had to. He just broke my thought light. I had to fix it.
He's heard what you've been saying about the midgets. He said, I got to get your ass, daddy.
What's going on, Steven? Sorry, I'm a
what's
little
going
late.
on, man?
Not much, man. Another day. Sweaty as hell from practice, but I'm alright though.
So what do you guys got going on this year for breeding?
I'm done this year. 2 clutches in. I could go for a third. I don't know if I will. I had a clutch that completely. I had 3 clutches actually, and every single last one of them died. They crashed in the egg. So,
Oh,
yeah. So that was the one I really wanted. It just didn't happen.
that's that.
Yeah, it sucks, but you get back to it. You can't sit around and cry about it for too long. Plus, man, I've been too blessed, man. Had too many good clutches. It was bound to happen that I fuck up at least at one of them. I think I know what the problem was. Uh, I think the snakes just didn't. I think that female just didn't have enough heat, even though it was a normal amount of heat. She just needed more. So I think that's pretty much it. But shit happens, man. Can't have them all.
Me, of course, I got another Cyclops thing in my sleeve, and then I'm gonna try to do me and Travis got brothers actually, the same snakes. So I want to do that Maroke be up to the Cyclops just to see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep trying to do it. But what you got planned, Steven? What you got coming up?
Yeah. What else you got planned for you, Steven?
So I was telling them I'm doing the repeat pairing of Luna Singularity, so Blue Line Calico.
Okay.
I've got Pure Maniquari paired up right now. And then I've got another Blue Line female from Francis Catan who is, she's cycling right now. For later this year, I'm going to put her to a Maniquari male. And then I've got a really melanistic animal from Patrick Holmes, the Void. She is off food right now, cycling, getting ready for winter, fall, hanging out with Singularity. So hopefully some really melanistic babies out of that, if it works.
Hey, good luck on that, man. I want to see them.
So how does the Void look? You got any? You should throw a recent picture of him.
I don't have a picture of it.
Not you. Come on, Steven.
I mean, if you got a picture, you can send it to me.
I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm probably not going.
No, just don't worry about it.
All right, don't worry about it. Man. So then, what was it like? What was it like? What was it like building? How did you go about trying to build your collection?
We already went over that. If you were here 45 minutes.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Look, I got shit to do. I got a family struck.
Let's talk about you and you being the
Carly, kiss my ass. Kiss my black ass. First off, Carly.
The blackest part. The part that don't get washed all the time. Let's talk about you running the Facebook forum, man. Let's talk about that. So, like you said earlier, you made some friends, you made some enemies, but you're beloved. You are beloved out here, man.
He making the memes though.
Thank you.
So let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about that experience, man, because you got access to a lot of people. They post things, so you see a lot, man.
I do. I see a lot that not everybody sees because there's a lot that doesn't get posted. Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. You learn really fast. I'm sure you guys know it's similar to like doing a podcast. You run a group or you do a podcast. I mean, you talk to so many people. You hear so many different perspectives, different ways of keeping. Yeah. It really speeds up that learning curve.
Yeah, you learn a lot of shit you don't really want to know as well.
Yeah,
you learn a lot of that. A lot of stuff you could have just
me up with their gossip and personal beef and wanting me to play favorites, and so did this, so they shouldn't be able to post in the group. And I try to be impartial as best I can, but Chondro is a lot of politics. There's a lot of big personalities, a lot of big money.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Like I also like lately I've been seeing it, man. Like a lot of people that seem like they used to be like really cool with each other, like they immediately like switch on each other when you start talking about these expensive ass animals, man. And you know, when people start getting snakes, man, and they're buying these expensive snakes, people's relationships are affected by that, man.
Yeah.
It's odd. You would think that they wouldn't, but it's just it is what it is, I guess. But I can imagine running the Facebook forum like it's not just always that. Like it's just some serious personal issues between people, man. Because I've seen it. Like I've dealt with it in my time in the chondro community where these issues have nothing to do with snakes. So
Yeah.
let's talk about some of that.
I mean, everyone's got a story about someone, and if we just stopped talking to everybody that I've heard something about, we wouldn't have a group anymore. Um, so, I think my experience as an admin and seeing so much, seeing so many comments, seeing so many posts, making so many friends and so many enemies, and pissing enough people off, like it's opened me up to there being a lot more than one way to do things. There's a lot more gray area than I used to think.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I give people a lot more grace now than I used to. Um, if their ideas or keeping doesn't align with mine. And I used to be such a warrior about the bioactive stuff, and it's like you just keep beating your head against a brick wall, and eventually you're just like, you know what? They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and here I'm just gonna do my thing. I'm gonna make some pretty snakes, and I'm gonna post pictures, and you guys do what you're gonna do.
So
I think I'm a lot more standoffish now than I used to be.
why?
Hmm.
You can't be more standoffish now. You got to interact with the community more. You got snakes now, man.
I do, but I think I've kind of graduated a little bit more to what older keepers do, where it's like you give advice here and there, but you stay a little more impartial and you just kind of do your thing. I'm not here to babysit 30,000 people. I got to keep the peace, but I have a family and a life too. I can't let it consume me.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely can, man.
Yeah.
People
Yeah, I agree with that.
people people want to talk to you all the time about snakes, and you're just like, man, I got other stuff to do, man. Like snakes is not the biggest thing in my life. And you run across people that like snakes is like the biggest thing in their lives, and it's just like it's not doesn't work that way for me. We had a pick from Patrick of the Void. Shout out to Pat.
There you go.
Very nice. There
Beautiful.
you go. Yeah. There you
That's a
go.
beautiful snake. Shout out to Pat, man.
Yeah, man, one of the most beautiful animals he's produced to date. But he's made some really nice ones this last season or two. They should be
Oh
changing
yeah.
pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a real nice night.
So
Yeah, actually, his recent clutch, if you've seen the one with all the like orange diamonds,
Yeah.
mhm.
pretty much the same pairing that one came from. The crook is the same male and paired with a Biak female. So melanistic blue background next to a Biak always throws some craziness in there. So yeah, I'm hoping to get some eggs from her this season. That'd probably be um, the icing on the cake for me.
Okay. So
What is that
monitoring the
icing?
group, man. Do you think that helps you get better access to certain snakes?
I think it affords me a little bit of carte blanche, or it gives me um, a little bit of a step up. I think from just your average person. just because you see my name, people probably want to put animals in my hands that are a little nicer just because they know I'm going to be posting them a lot. I think that has probably more to do with it than running the group necessarily. Is that I'm active. I post a lot of nice pictures of my animals, and as a breeder, that's something that you really you want to see from your animals. You want to see them grow up. You want to see how they change colors. You want to see what they eventually pair to, what their babies look like. So I think that makes people more willing to put nicer animals in my hands.
Okay. Hey, I gotta ask you this. What is your big
Cause you
deal?
sound like a hater right now. I ain't gonna lie.
What is your big issue with bioactive setups? I gotta hear it from you, Steven.
So I mean, honestly, it's just kind of risk to reward ratio doesn't work out, man. There's so many risks in there.
Yeah.
Pathogens, parasites can harbor in the soil. If you ever got mites, forget trying to get rid of those in a bioactive. It's not going to happen. Um, Skin issues happen, respiratory issues happen. I mean, can it be done? Yes. Have I seen it done well? Yes. Should it be done by anybody? No. Um, Especially if you're going to keep like numbers. If you're just keeping one or two and you've got the time to focus on it, and you've got like backup setups in place, like I know some people do, where if something were going wrong, you've got a quarantine setup ready on the side, or if you're prepared, then cool. If you know what you're doing, cool. If you've got years of experience doing both, cool. But for 9 out of 10 people, that's not the case. So most of what I've seen as an admin for bioactive is just problems, problems, problems. I've got soil stuck in the dermal pits. There's stuff stuck in its mouth. It's got mouth rot. It ate the plant along with its food. What do I do about this? Is it going to die from ingesting this? What do I do about it burying itself under the soil? Like day in and day out, it's problems, problems, problems. And you see the common denominators between all these problems are, the glass cages, they're the heat light, and the bioactive. It's like every time you see these issues, it's the same story. So once you kind of put that together, and then you realize what all these guys that have been here for decades are doing, you look at Dave D, you look at, Gary Shavino, you look at some of these guys that have been here for 20, 30, 40 years even. What are they keeping them in? Not bioactive. They're keeping them simple and clean. That KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
So after seeing all that, man, what would you say after seeing all these different variations of husbandry? What would you say is a perfect setup for a tub, and a PVC, and even a neo rack? What would you say the things that you think work out the best and
Uh,
seem to have the least amount of issues?
And the blade we trust.
yeah, I
And the
mean,
blade we
simple,
trust.
clean, sterile-ish setups seem to do the best. I mean, and using radiant heat sources like heat tape or heat panels, um, things that aren't drying out the air, something that holds humidity without having to keep it saturated all the time, or having a fogger or a misting system. All that stuff is just more shit to clean, more risk of contamination.
Shout
So,
out the blade.
I mean, everyone's like, oh, they don't do that in the wild. But the fact is, you are never going to be able to recreate that lush rainforest in your living room. It's not going
Yeah.
to happen. You can grab all the plants from all different corners of the world, but none of them are native. None of that stuff is actually what they were born into. You get plants that come from South America. You've got bugs that come from Indonesia. You know what I mean? You're mixing all this stuff and you're like, oh, I'm recreating the perfect environment. No, you're not. That looks like it's for a frog, maybe, not for a snake. And I mean, you look at the environment they're in, even the bio, like the niche that they're in their environment, particularly juveniles and adults, it's the canopy. It's very airy. It's open. They're not sitting 6 inches from wet
What's
soil.
new, Carly?
Hey, have you seen a heretic from Focus Cube?
I have. Those
How do you
things
feel
look
about that?
amazing. I've
Oh man,
actually seen them in person because they're not
I
too far
saw him
from
at
me.
Bill Siegel's house.
Yeah, those things look legit. So some of the things that they're like working on with that, the airflow, which is really important. If you're
Yeah.
doing a deep soil, you have to have constant airflow. It'll stagnate and get swampy in there if you don't have constant airflow. So there's a lot more to consider. If you want to just do a basic bio, like what you see for sale at a reptile show or whatever, and you just want to do some clay balls and some substrate and some moss and get some dart frogs, get something else that's going to thrive in that.
In your honest opinion, how would you set up a tub?
So for me, my babies, I don't know if, again, I don't have pictures to send, but I just have them set up in simple the Sterilite tubs with plastic hangers for purchase.
Yeah.
A little deli cup with some water, and they're good.
Yeah. I think that's an easy setup. It makes
No.
sense, especially with constant cleaning, because they
So
always shitting and everything.
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I love the 3D printed perches and stuff like from David Brahms and like what you were showing in a box. And I actually have 3D printed stuff for a lot of my cages. My juvie cages have them. I have the elevated water dish holders from them. But for the Neos, I mean, it was just so cheap and easy. You could throw them out, replace them. Hangers are easy to cut up to any size or shape I want.
Yeah,
The
that's what
way
I
I
started
use
mine
them,
on the first few
the
months.
way,
Yep.
Yeah.
the way
When
I
they
use
first
them,
come
I
out, just
actually
hangers.
I leave it 3 points of contact, so it goes to like the 2 corners and then the piece across, and like it's really worked out perfect because I can put my water dish in and out without removing the animal, so I can do water changes without removing. In a pinch, I could even pull out the paper towel and swap that without having to disturb the animal. Little things like that come in clutch when you're dealing with really, really shy babies that don't want to eat and don't want to be seen or touched, so it's worked out good for me.
Yeah, I think that works best, man. I also like. I've had 2 purges in with babies when they first come out. It seems like you can feed them better with just one.
Yeah,
And I like that.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Once they get a little bit older, I like using my 3D printed purchase for them to sit on, so that they just have a little bit more room to lounge on. But it does take a little longer to clean those than just cleaning one perch. So I
yeah.
will say that. But I think that you probably should try to put a care guide. You ever seen the care guide in the MVF?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you guys need to. Hey man, what happened to the get a mentor function in the group?
It just kind of fell off. I think it's still there. It's still
I used it,
functioning,
man. I
but
love that thing. That's how I met up with Sauce, Patty and Sauce.
nice. Nice. Yeah, I should get more involved and do some more stuff like that. I used to do a little bit more like tip of the week and getting other breeders in to do breeder highlights. Life has just been busy. Um, got a lot to take care of since we moved to this new house, and we've got a lot more animals now. I think we have over 100 animals at this point. Uh,
Damn.
Yeah.
so
I was gonna ask
yeah,
you how is keeping those damn retics?
huh?
How is keeping the retics?
Tucker, you're not
So
these
I'll be
guys.
honest with you.
These are bad
I don't really
guys,
do
Tucker.
a lot of the retic keeping.
That the wife
Uh,
does that?
yeah, I help with the smaller animals and I do a lot of the water changes, but
I get the fuck out of it. You gonna leave her to them big mountainous shits?
she that's her shit, man. She's brave. I'm kind of a bitch when it comes to the big animals. Um,
You said it. I ain't said
so I'm not even gonna lie. Actually, even when I'm dealing with some of my more ornery green tree pythons, if they need like help shedding, I call in the big guns. I got to get my wife to come in and help me with that because
Hold on, man.
she just doesn't care. She'll take a bite and just keep on rolling like nothing happened. Me, I'm over here like I I've just always been a bitch about needles and being bit and stuff. So yeah.
You like,
And
baby, I need your help, babe.
the big animals are her passion. That's what she loves. That's her thing. I've always most of the animals that I've liked the best were more display animals. So like I really
I'm with
did
you,
get
by the
into
way.
dog frogs for a long time.
I ain't trying to clean up after none of that shit out rabbits. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, no, for real. A 5 pound rabbit shit is gnarly.
No, I'm
Yeah, I
good.
see him.
I'm with you on that one, Steven. I ain't gonna lie.
I know, Stevie, you're pretty lucky, man. I tried to get my wife to help me one time probe a snake, and like she looked at me just like, "What the fuck?" And she had the easy end, and then she was just like, "I don't know what to do," and I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna get bit today." Just fuck it.
No, she's a warrior. So anytime I'm doing like nido testing, she's my extra pair of hands. Anytime I'm dealing with a really angry snake, she comes in and saves the
Hey,
day.
Carly, especially these days.
And yeah, all the big animals she deals with. So I mean, partnership works. She's the badass, and I'm the one that does all the OCD cleaning.
You lucky, man. My wife ain't coming through and doing none of that. She just looks at me just like, I'm going back inside. She grab her iced coffee and get the fuck away from me.
No, it's been wonderful having a partner to share all this with and do all this with. I'll tell you though, it keeps us broke, and we're running out of space in our house because neither of us knows how to stop the other one, and we just kind of keep getting more.
That's where you gotta stop, man.
We gotta stop when we run out of space. But I mean, even then, I've got one kid that's getting old enough to like, you gotta go. We need your room now.
Man, you know kids don't leave like they used to, man. Kids be there till they 30 something years old,
Hey,
man.
don't
Especially
tell
the
my
Mexican
wife.
kids. The Mexican
Don't
kids
tell
be
my
there
wife
till
she's
like
looking
75.
forward to. She's looking forward to this.
Keto. Kids be staying a long ass fucking time, man. Plus, man, it's hard out there, man. It ain't like it used to, man. You could tell a kid, "Oh, you ain't make it. We just gonna send you to the army or some shit." Kids these days would be like, you can't do that to me. You just, you're hurting my
Actually,
feelings."
my oldest is going through the process to try and get in the army right now. So
Shit, that's what I did.
How old is your oldest? How old is your
After
oldest,
two
Steve?
years of college, I went to the army.
17.
17?
Yeah.
Damn, Steve, how old are you?
I am 37.
Damn, Steve,
Okay,
you only a year
you
older
stroking,
than
you
me,
stroking
man.
young,
Shit.
bro.
Yeah, I
Damn,
look like a baby.
my oldest kid is only 5, man. I would be keeping
No,
these
you was
motherfuckers
stroking
for a long
young.
time. Yeah, he was out there
Yeah, not
wild.
only that, but I actually got full custody and raised my oldest myself. I was a single dad for a long, long time, which is why
Shout out to
I
the single
couldn't
fathers
even
out
keep
there,
I
bro.
couldn't keep reptiles. I was just grinding and trying to survive.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Shout out to them
life is
single
different
dads,
now.
man.
I got a partner in crime, and we've got a lot of animals.
Yeah, that's rough. Like me being the only person to take care of my kid. That sounds rough.
He knows old. I'm only a couple months older than these guys. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's really not
Charlie,
true.
you just a hater. I'm convinced. You just a hater. That's all. I
Something
love you
wrong with
though.
Carly.
I love you too.
Did you not? Did you?
Just a
What did
hater.
you do? What happened?
I just woke up. You know how it is with women. You start breathing. You make more sense.
Oh yeah. When you come in the room, they look at you just like. It's all right. I'm getting the fuck up out of this house today. You're not about to look at me like that. You're not about to look at me like I'm fucking leaving. You're not gonna have the attitude with me coming here and be like, "Why are you being mean to me? Stop talking to me."
Mr. Eugene.
Excuse me a second. I'm gonna go run to the bathroom. Be right
All
back.
right.
Go ahead. That's Mr. Eugene to y'all, man.
Not
The
Mr.
haters have arrived.
Not Mr. Eugene.
You see the
Mr.
haters?
Eugene, will you buy us some chips?
Yeah, Mr. M-I-S-T-A.
Mr. Eugene, can you give us some popsicles?
The haters have arrived.
I don't know. Who is it? Who's out here? We still got fucking South crazy.
The haters real.
Yeah.
South Carolina haters real tonight.
It's coming from the UK too, man. So you take your ass to bed, man.
Yeah,
You know that you gotta make sure that you tie that.
Gang banging from the south side of London.
Yeah, you better put that fucking Dapper Dan on your head, take your ass to sleep, bro. Comb that hair real nice. I don't know what's going on with Carly, man. Carly's
He gonna throw a tea at you.
Hey, man, that's just what happens. That's what happens in the group chat. Yeah, he's.
Okay, just keep that music on, please. I love you too, Brian. Wait, hold on. What's wrong with the? What's wrong with the? Oh, go ahead, Steven. Oh, I'm not gonna ask you that.
Something that might be fun to get into. People always like talking about what works, what doesn't work, feeding babies.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
so we wanted to get to that point. Before we get to that point, we gotta ask you this question, man. What's going on? What is on your Explorer page on Instagram?
My what?
Your Explorer page. Like when you open Instagram, when you click on the little magnifying glass, the search thing, what is usually sitting up there for you to click on?
I'm not even sure what to answer that with.
That's good. Just don't answer that thing. Let's talk about feeding Neos.
Just tell me what you see when you press a little magnifying glass.
Let's leave him alone.
It's about to change.
I'm not sure what you guys
First off, hold on, time out. The thing that has not infected the YouTube algorithm, y'all. It has nothing to do with it.
It is affecting.
So I'm not
Instagram
very proficient with Instagram, so I'm actually not sure what you guys are even talking about, to be honest.
It's a good thing you don't know. It's a good thing
Shout out
you
to
don't
the M&Ms, the mascots.
I spend most of my time on Facebook. I got that page that I run on Instagram was given to me. It was originally the Green Tree Python Instagram page.
That dude Tabiri?
Nika, yeah, he had that page. So all those followers were from him. So I've actually lost a lot of his followers since taking it over. I don't know it. I don't know how the algorithms work. I don't know how to gain followers. Yeah, you got to put a lot of time and effort into that I don't really have.
Yeah. You talking about the Instagram?
What's that?
You talking about Instagram? You gotta put effort to that? Yeah.
Oh man, Instagram. So let's talk about feeding Neos, man.
Let's do it.
So, how long do you wait before you start feeding Neos? What's your first approach, man? What was your first odds like when you first came out of it? And what did you do with the animals that didn't eat right away?
Pre-share, post-share.
And assist feeding. How'd you do that? Like, how'd you go about any of this?
All right. So I waited for them to shed their egg skin before I attempted the first time. That was at like 10, 12 days in, something like that. My first attempt was just frozen thawed day old pinkies, really hot and covered in chick down, the basic go-to that everyone talked about. I actually used a candle warmer and a small glass of water to keep things warm while I'm there, and I use a little temp gun. So I just constantly check the temperature. If it's getting a little too hot, pull it off for a few minutes. If it's cooling down, put it back on. So I can constantly keep it somewhere around 100 degrees, maybe a little more. But that lets me continue to keep them warm while I'm doing the tease feeding session. My first attempt with my first clutch was awful. Only one took, 1 out of 10, basically. So that was fun. I was freaking out. I continued trying to tease feed them and get them going for another couple weeks. At about a month old, I decided the ones that hadn't eaten yet, I was going to start assist feeding. I think at that point, that's about the time that the yolk runs out, and they'll either start to take in nutrition or they'll start to lose weight. So I wanted to get food in their belly before they got to the point of potentially losing weight and making it harder for them to dig out of the hole, so to speak. So for assist feeding, I was kind of a micro butcher. I took an adult mouse and cut the hind legs off and pulled off the fur, cut off the nails, and had a teeny tiny little micro drumstick that I'd pop in their mouth. Perfect size that they couldn't spit it out, really, so they're kind of stuck with it. And I kept feeding them those. They were getting one of those every 3 or 4 days in between each tease session. So I only got 3 babies to eat on their own before I started assist feeding. And then little by little, one by one, different tricks worked for different animals. And I eventually got all 10 of them eating on their own. But it definitely took a lot of work, a lot of patience. Certainly wasn't the easy that you see some people, oh yeah, all 10 of them ate first try, no problem, easy peasy.
Like Keno ass.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of hours sitting in front of the rack.
That was not me, Travis, man.
This ain't right, bro.
But yeah, I got them all going, and they're all doing great now. 7 of them off to new homes, an 8th going to Bill when we meet up, and then 2 left for me.
And what's this game on Keno night?
So how many babies did you have from that first clutch?
10. I got 12 eggs. One of the eggs never fully developed. So when I opened it up at the very end, it was still at a really early stage of development. And then one of them drowned in the egg. It had scratches all over the egg, but I didn't pip it manually soon enough. And I think it just wasn't able to make it out in time to get that first breath that it needed.
Okay.
That egg that was undeveloped, you think that was like that from the beginning, or do you think that the position in your egg box has something to do with that?
I have no idea, to be honest. Since it was just the one, I can't figure out what exactly was going on. Maybe it was just defective, something genetically.
I was wondering that too, because I had a couple like that. I had one last year from the 23 clutch of the designers that it pipped on like day 48 and came out with his umbilical cord wrapped around himself. And I was just, I've been racking my brain like, damn, that was one that was in the back closest to the heat wall. Could that have something to do with throwing it off?
Yeah, I was trying to think of the same thing, because that one was towards the front, near the plexiglass, and I'm thinking, is that one cooler than the others? But there were others right next to it that hatched just fine. So
right, same thing here. Yeah. Sometimes you rack your brain trying to figure this shit out.
Right, overthinking chondros like we do.
Yeah.
I'm liking seeing these microblade jokes.
Some of the trick that worked for me and some that didn't. So let's see. The first thing that worked was the hot with chick down. That worked for the first one, and then the tip I got from Gary Shavino helped me with a couple more. He told me, like, go longer, go harder on them, like really push them until they're tired, because sometimes when they're exhausted, that's when they'll react. So that got a couple more of them going. And then it was just tips from everyone. Like Bill gave me a tip about if you have ones that tend to drop as soon as they get it, just freeze. Even if your hand's in there with the tongs, just freeze. So that helped with one other. I just sat there for 30 minutes until it ate with my hand holding in the air with the tongs just frozen. That worked.
It does. It does. It works. It sucks that you feel stupid. Like my wife will
Yeah.
come out there, she'll try to ask me some question, or like my daughter come out there and she'll come all the way up to me. I'm just sitting there talking through the side of my mouth, like, get the fuck out of here. To my daughter, I'm like, get out of here. And my wife, she'll ask me a question. I'll be like, can this wait? Give me 10 minutes. I'll be inside. Give me 10 minutes. Well, yeah, man, it works, man.
See, one of the next tricks that worked really well was I hid on the side of the rack and tried to just kind of drop the pinky down from above where my heat signature wasn't in the background. That actually helped with a bunch. I think I got like 4 of them going with that trick.
You just drop it down like that, like you give
Yeah,
money
I
to a
was
stripper.
just hiding on the side, and I would, go over. And I actually even used like an icing spreader to open the tub from underneath, so it wouldn't see my hand signature opening the tub, and then I dropped the pink down from
Yo,
above.
you was on some real ninja shit,
I
man.
was on some real ninja shit, and it worked. It got them going. Like
I think
it's not
Chris
that they won't
said that
eat;
from Snake Spirit.
they
He said
didn't
he was
want
like
to eat with me there.
Chris said he rolled in the room one day and was like and snuck up on the cage in the dark and slid it out from the bottom.
I don't know. Chris kind of wild. I feel like Chris probably he probably had like the ninja outfit, but no pants on, some shit, trying to feed a Neo or some shit. Mask,
Just asshole
mask,
naked in there, just a mask and nothing else.
mask shirt, just the bottom just ass naked.
That's how Patrick Holmes does. He does it. He's in there half naked with meditation music.
He probably
Yeah.
does, man. I don't really want to know what's going on in Pat House. I feel like there's just, yeah, I don't
And
know.
let's see.
I don't.
The
No,
next
but the
thing
shit
that
we
got
go through when I was first started feeding mans, man, I would sit there and I would set the mood, man. I would give me a drink. I put some music in my headphones,
Did you
and
put
I'll
on
be prepared
cologne?
to what?
Did you put on cologne?
No, hey, but look, I forgot. Since you want to say, hey, I forgot. Remember you sent me your snakes back in October?
Yeah.
I never showed the bag that one of the snakes came in.
I didn't see you a second.
You
Damn
did.
Crown Royal
It
back.
got holes
Oh,
in
I
it. It
did
got
not.
holes at the bottom where it can breathe.
That's not true. That
Yeah,
did happen. Don't
it
listen to
did.
this, man.
It did. Anyway, I would sit there for 2 or 3 hours, man. You be sitting there for like 45 minutes watching the thing. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move.
Uh, I think
uh,
the best. I think the best is when you just give it to them and they just take it and they take it real slow and pull in and they just kind of hold it and then they take it. But
We still talking about snakes, right?
yeah, I mean, I like it when they hold and take it in other ways
Yeah,
too.
it
But
got kind of weird. I was about to say no Diddy.
you gotta do something. You gotta do something when that pinky come out.
Shout out to Travis though, man. That Crown Royal bag. You know what that good? You see that gold string? You know what that means, baby.
What does that mean?
We going moving to the next question.
I never sent this man no fucking Crown Royal bag in my
You
life.
lying? The young people call that cap.
then there's the next little tip that helped me get a baby going came from an unlikely source. I was at a pet store local to me, and one of my buddies over there told me I've had a lot of luck with boiled pinkies for animals that typically would eat, lizards
What's up, brother?
and whatnot. So I tried the boiled pinky, and that worked for one of them too. I was surprised. It like completely changed the smell of the pinky. It's all rubbery and gray. I wasn't sure about that, but it worked. It worked for one of them at least.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
I use
saying.
an electric tea kettle, man. I got a Keno makes fun of it, but I got a pink electric tea kettle. that I use to heat the water up.
I use a bottle warmer.
I
Um,
think I think
and
that
then
tea
after
kettle
that,
works pretty well.
I still had 2 left that wouldn't eat. I just figured those 2 were gonna be
What's up, Dalek?
goners.
Good
I
look
didn't
on
think
that.
I was gonna get them going, but I noticed one time after I assist fed the leg that after it swallowed it, it went back up on the perch and was kind of like queued up, like it was ready to just hit something. So I took a pinky and offered it after it had swallowed the assist fed leg. Boom, took it. Like what? So that actually worked for the last 2 animals, so daisy chaining. So I would give them a tail or one of the little severed legs, wait for them to get that down, wait for them to get back up on the perch,
Yeah.
and then dangle that pinky in front of them. And that's what got the last couple.
I know what you're
Yeah,
saying about that, how they asked up too, because
yeah.
it's something about that. I think I don't know, maybe it's the taste of food or whatever it is, but it's something about that just stimulating going down, how they move it, digesting it. Something about that I think that triggers it too.
Also, man, I think
That
that
feeding
sometimes
response.
with the assist feeding, man, I think that they get tired of fighting you. Like you keep coming in there, assist feeding them. Eventually, they're just like, "Fuck it, bro. I just eat it. Just stop putting your hand in my fucking
Right?
tub, bro.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here, man. I'll just eat it." I think that happens a lot of the time. Also, like I use legs, and sometimes with the legs, it's just like they just get used to eating the legs, and they just kind of just like they don't care anymore. But if
Mhm.
you assist feed them that whole pink, they're just like, I don't like this shit. This shit's breaking in my throat. And you steady trying to push it down. They don't like that. They turn around real quick once you start assist feeding whole pinks. They just really don't like it.
I could never bring myself to do it. I tried a couple of times and it got partway down. I'm like, this is too much. Too much for the animal and me. I can't do it. You're getting a fucking leg.
That leg is so much easier, but
Yeah.
that pinky, they're just like, man, if you do not get the fuck out of here, bro. And they know
So
when you're coming.
so what I started doing though for them, like as months were going by, 2, 3 months gone by, and there was some that still weren't eating on their own. I started doubling up. I just started giving them 2 legs or a leg and a tail every time. Um, and I feel like that's when some of them started turning the corner. Like, all right, we're getting some real food intake now. We're
Yeah.
getting some growth rate happening.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we're
Also,
gonna.
also, if you assist feed them and then try to feed them a day later, they do a little bit better. Like assist feed them the night of that you
Yes,
fed
sir.
them,
Go to. Yes,
and
sir.
then
It's
try to
three
feed
of them.
them again the next day. Sometimes they do a little bit better. It's a lot of tricks, man. You just gotta. Each one's different. They all got different personalities. They
Everyone is
respond to
different.
different things.
Tricks. John, same thing.
Yeah.
The church.
There's no blanket statement that's going to work for all of them. Some of the things that I tried that didn't work at all, parakeet down, that
Mhm.
didn't do anything for me. I had somebody else tell me egg whites didn't do anything for me. Someone else
Did
told
you
me
try the
chicken
gizzard
broth.
thing? The gizzard thing the Stiegel does?
I haven't tried the gizzard thing.
Okay.
Um, I just
I haven't.
once I started the leg, it was just so easy, and I have so many mice here for all of our other animals. And then like I was just feeding off the legless mice to our different colubrids and stuff. So like there was just zero waste. It was easy. I don't know. I never went out of my way to buy any chicken gizzard. Not that I'm against it or anything. I just
Yeah.
haven't tried it.
The chicken broth didn't work either?
Nope.
Chicken broth didn't work for me at all.
That shit
Chicken
didn't
broth
work for
didn't
me
work.
either.
Tuna can juice didn't work for me. Those Repti juices from Reptilink, that shit was ass. None of that shit worked.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Uh,
hated those, especially when I tried them with my adults and they fucking exploded everywhere all over the cage. And then I just had to clean up nasty smelling, rotting goop off the cage, off all
Uh,
my adult cages the next day. and then they had them all over the animals too. So I had to go and like wipe down all my animals because they just had rotting meat all over them.
I never used the Repti Links, but they used to sell like scent juices,
Yeah.
like, and I use
Oh yeah, yeah,
those.
like the
Those are
lizard
terrible.
juice, and
That shit
didn't
ain't
do
work.
anything, huh?
No,
Mm.
that shit was
No.
ass. What else did
None
I
of mine
try?
took live. I tried live for them. None of them wanted live.
I've used Puree Chicks. I've used, and that worked. I've used a Knowles. That worked. Um, yeah, but nothing else scent wise. Washing them helps. Washing them does help.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, washing
Yeah,
those
I've had a
pinkies
few
does
people
help.
tell me that now, and I haven't tried that either. I don't know why. Um, but I should have.
It works
What
good too.
soap
It's
do you
like
get for that?
what
What
is it?
soap do
The
you get?
seventh generation unscented hand soap.
Okay.
I still got mine from Salad. Shout out Salad.
Yeah, it's pretty good,
But
man.
it washes that mouth scent off him. Because you know
Yeah,
mice, them frozen mice smell a lot worse than frozen rats.
it washes that urine scent off of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You use a
Yeah,
dish
I'll have to
soap,
try
Pat.
that
I
next
use
time.
the seventh generation hand soap.
Nice. I'll have to have some of that handy next time.
Yeah, just put it in once you put those pinkies in cold water. Put a little bit of soap in there and just swirl it around and rinse them off. It rinses off easy too, man.
Yeah.
But it does take off that stinky scent. And the rodents come from different places too. So Rose, I've had pinkies like the pinkies from the local pet store. To me, they don't like those pinkies. The pinkies from as a reptile distributor here by the name of Little Shop of Horrors, operating in San Antonio. They cool. They do like those. They like the cold-blooded pinkies. They didn't like the pinkies from the pet barn. They didn't like those. They did like the pinkies from PetSmart, the 20 pack for like $30. They did like those, but I think that different pinkies have different scents that would turn them
Yeah.
off. So I think washing them helps.
And different pet
We,
smarts, they have different quality of them too. Some of them
Yeah,
I didn't walk in and saw some really clean one fuzzies, and then some I haven't.
yeah.
we get most of our stuff from the rodent factory simply because we go through a lot of rabbits, and they always have a good supply of rabbits.
How often do you got to feed them retics the rabbits?
The rabbits once a month.
Oh, okay.
I had a question. Have any of the do you house all the retics separately, keep them separately all the time?
Yeah.
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 Because I know at zoos like they'll keep multiple in like the same area, and I'm just like,
I
wow,
mean, if
bro.
it's big enough, sure. But our biggest cages are 8-footers in the big girl room. Um, yeah, it's not big enough for multiple 12-foot plus females.
You ever had one of the big females get a hold of you?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't give them the luxury. My
I'm just
wife
I
does.
asking.
have.
Hey, when them big girls
Yep.
got a hold of you, Keto? What type of big girls was it? Was it a golden child? What
The
type?
prom night.
What noise did you make when she got a hold of you?
Come on, man. You talking about the blind date? She didn't get hold of me.
I didn't say that. I'm not talking
The
about that
blind date, I
blind.
got that jam.
I'm not talking about that.
We're not gonna talk about that blind date
We
though,
not.
bro. That's old, dog. I was like 17 when it happened. Don't bring that up, man.
We're not gonna talk about it. Anyway,
It's ridiculous.
hey man, you got any equipment that you use with the chondros over years, be it radiant heat panels or lights or anything like that that you would recommend to use, or things that you would recommend to stay away from?
Um, I already mentioned it, but those candle warmers have been super invaluable for everything. Even my big animals, I get the like 32-ounce mason jars, and I'll just throw my small rats and jumbo mice in there and warm them up. So that's a really, really amazing tool. Gets it to perfect body temp every time. So that's a piece of equipment that's a must. I gotta say I've become a really big fan of Focus Cube. There's other people that can make the same stuff, but the amount of time and effort that they put into the small details, I
Craftsmanship.
can't
Yeah.
I can't say enough. Just little things like, when they make cages for geckos, they may not necessarily hide the cords from the LED lights and whatnot, but chondros, they know that they're going to try and perch on those cords if they have access to it. So all of that stuff is like completely covered and built in with their own little like PVC cover and stuff. Like they think about all those little details. So they're probably my favorite PVC and rack manufacturer nowadays. For thermostats, proportional thermostats, I kind of go with what everyone does. The herp stats, they haven't done me wrong. I have had a couple of units that either broke from like being dropped. I had one that had a defective chip or something in it, and those guys were so fast. They're like, send it back, we'll get it fixed, send it right back. They took care of it. They've always taken care of us. Anytime anything has happened in a rare occasion,
Nice.
they're really, really fast to respond and get us taken care of. So, herp
Unless
stats
you're
and
Christian,
Spider robotics.
unless you're Christian store, and then they don't want to fix that herp stat for you. They don't want you to call them about it no more. They
Whoop.
want you to stop talking to them about it.
Kids on their ass.
Christians on their ass.
And so how have you start planning on or when do you plan on start growing up with your animals inside and feed size? I know you grew up a lot of animals from babies and whatnot, but now that you have your own clutch, how do you plan on doing that with your own?
I think it's a lot of intuition. You've got to pay attention to the animal. And I mean, I raised a lot of them from pretty young age. So I think to me at this point, it's kind of second nature. But I could just kind of tell when a prey item is too small. You can tell they're having difficulty wrapping it. It's not making a noticeable lump on their side anymore.
But they swallow it fast as hell.
You don't want their skin stretching like after the meal. I don't need to see like big old scale separation, but I do want to see a nice sized lump that there's a meal in there. So that's kind of my guideline. When an animal is wrapping and it's like you can see its coils like kind of go over, and it's weird, like it almost wraps itself because it's having difficulty wrapping its coils around that prey item. It's too small. Move up.
Well, when it strikes, half the damn prey is already in his mouth already.
Right? Yeah.
Don't even wrap up and just start swallowing it.
Just start swallowing right away.
Yeah, it's over for this.
And I mean, I've asked a million questions and talked to a million people, so I know intervals and stuff at this point. But if you're doing this early on, just ask questions and pay attention to the animal too. They're going to let you know with their body condition. They're not mammals. They're not going to starve overnight, but they will let you know that they're in need of larger prey items or shorter intervals in between meals. You'll start to see their spine more. You'll start to see eventually you'll start to see ribs. If you're getting to that point, you've emaciated the animal, so you can just pay attention to body condition. Now, some of the males will trick you because I've got males that eat on the same schedule as some of these big girls, jumbo mice, and they just have a high metabolism. They move around a lot. They're roaming every night, and they stay skinny. You can still see kind of a sharp dorsal on the spine. But, I mean, still, you pay attention to your animals. You can tell if they're getting too skinny. Then start moving up in prey size or start giving them meals more often. And same for the other side. If they're getting too fat, and I'm telling you, 2,000 grams, 3,000 grams is too fat. If they're too fat, then you start seeing creases in their skin and fat rolls and cellulite, and
Uh-huh. Way
then
too
you
much.
start decreasing prey size
Hey,
or
make sure you put some water in.
uh,
You got
increasing
it
the
now.
interval between meals.
Yeah. Also, man, it seems like the rats seem to give them an overall body composition, but I still think that giving them those jumbo mice seem to put a little more fat on it if you need to. Like if you absolutely feel you need to, just mix some of those jumbo mice in them. It's like a fat bomb. I don't know why you need to. I don't do it anymore, but I will say that they will do that.
Cause Travis he still got. I'm still waiting on some shit from Travis from last year too, with some beef jerky. So, some deer jerky. So.
Listen, I'm
He'll get
fucking with
around
you,
to it
man.
one of these decades.
One of these decades, I'm gonna take my ass over to the post office. That's something to be fish. Yeah, man. Don't expect me to get to the post office real quick for you, trailer
Think
park
outside that.
contracts. What do you say? He said all of these things are nuanced and animal specific. Most people these days seem to want a recipe and don't want to think outside of that. Yeah, man. Like that is the truth, man. Also, man, I think that a lot of the newer guys would benefit from going to read some of the posts from the old MVF and just seeing how
Uh,
guys they had a different approach to troubleshooting. Their their methods were detailed and they were situational based. A lot of people seem like they want to watch a quick video and they're gonna figure out how to get it. And it's just like that won't necessarily get you there all the time. You might have had the same problem that somebody had in 2007. You might want to go read that problem, go read up on that problem, and try to get you a better solution with better options that might actually fit in your life or your budget or whatever. Um, but they are difficult to surmise sometimes with just a video, or even if somebody tells you come watch an episode of the CBR, like however somebody fixed it and told you about how they fix it here is not necessarily how it's going to work out for you. So you might want to just have all the information on hand you can possibly get, and try some things out. And you're going to fail sometimes. You are going to fail, and you just got to be able to live with that.
Yep, fun stuff.
no, that's wrong.
How much time we got?
And see,
That's good.
I've always been really wary of feeding my animals avian or reptilian prey items, even if they've been frozen thawed. Ever since I had a conversation back in the day with Harlan Wall, and he listed this long list of diseases and things that can easily be transferred from avian or reptilian prey items to your snakes because their biology is so similar. Um, Not all of them can, most things die in the freezer, but there are a few things that can survive some of those temperatures. So I've always just been wary. I mean, I've tried to stick to like rodent only diets just for
Yeah.
safety's sake. I've always erred on the side of safety with everything.
You only feed
Yeah.
mice, or you feeding rats too?
Yeah, I do feed rats. Not to any of the males. I feed rats to females.
Okay.
Uh, TPC. How often do you feed your adult males compared to your adult females, or do you keep all your adults on the same feeding schedule?
So I have my feeding schedule's a little all over the place. I mean, when I look back at my record and the app that I have, I use just a cheap little time to feed app. Simple. It just records water changes and feedings and whatnot. But when
You a
I look
reptile
back at
buddy?
that, I can see like 23 days from that feeding, 17, 9, 21, 13. So I'm kind of all over the place. It depends on what I'm doing with that animal, what time of the year it is. Are they cycling? Am I trying to get weight on them? Am I trying to get weight off of them? What age are they? So all of my animals are kind of on different schedules based on what's going on with them. So like my 8-month-olds right now, they're eating fuzzies every 5 or 6 days. My yearlings eating a hopper every 7 or 8 days. My older juvies eating large mouse every 8 to 10 days. It just goes on from there. I would say a typical interval for adults, though, is 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. How do you feel about the change in size of small rats, and all these prey items seem to be getting a lot smaller? I just got a bag of small rats recently. They look like weanlings. They look like fucking weanlings.
Yeah. I've noticed the same thing. We've actually started ordering things a size up from what we actually want to get the size we need.
Same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing
Yeah,
that's
these-
consistent is rat fuzzies.
Even my rat fuzzies have changed only, but for the better, from cold blooded, because I can get regular rat fuzzies and peach fuzzies, and I like that, as opposed to having like a mixed bag of fuzzies. You know, when you're stepping Neos up, I like giving them, the peach fuzzies for a while before I give them the real
Yeah,
fuzzy.
them wing rats though, they look like rat pups these days.
Yeah, them rat fuzzies. Yeah, it's all getting small,
It would
man.
be interesting to see the study though, what happened with the pandemic. Um, I know prices shot up with the green tree pythons and PBC, but the demand for reptile food, the mice and rats, that shit shot through the roof. And I think what we seeing is the effects of companies rushing trying to meet the demands.
I think the prices of everything have gone up, So, I mean, gas is
Yeah,
up, food is up, what they
for
feed
sure,
those
for sure.
rodents is up. So,
But I think they're really trying to rush to meet those demands and not getting them to proper size like they were at first.
that's true. Sending things out at the minimum
Yeah,
of the weight range.
yeah, threshold, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Bill Siegel, aka Dollar Bill? He came through
Yep.
to kick
What's
it
up,
for a
Bill?
little minute. Uh,
Oh,
Also,
how'd that
man,
go with Rob, Bill?
we love Rob, man. Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Rob
Rob.
World. We
Rob,
love
the
Rob.
squirrel world.
Yeah, that hair don't move either. That man hair does not move.
I'll tell you
Uh,
this: that man got a beautiful head of hair for
he
Yeah,
do.
for a man that's
Rob
75
is
years old.
Rob is not a fan of me. I don't know if y'all knew that.
Did he hit you with the comment bomb where he sent you like a page in a comment?
Me and him used to
He
go
got
head
that
to
man.
head
He
all the
got
time.
that man. No, man, Rob done chilled out, man.
I wouldn't know. He blocked me like 3 or 4 years ago.
Damn.
Honestly, I was kind of surprised seeing him show up on a few shows lately because, as far as I knew, he'd kind of slunk back into the depths from which he came.
Yeah. He been coming back, man. He been drinking insurers and doing water aerobics. He getting healthy again. He back out here. He about to hit you in the comment section, dog.
Oh
He
man,
said insurance and water aerobics. You stupid ass.
No, man, Rob done chilled
Hey,
out.
Rob mellowed down though. Rob ain't.
He
Hey, since
so
Rob had the stroke, since he had the
he
stroke,
started taking his
he
pills
different now.
again. He's back on the horse.
Hey
No, since he
man,
had the stroke, he good. He cool now.
yeah, he
He
not
he,
he not
he
like
settled
that no
down.
more. Rob, I feel like Rob used to do a bunch of push-ups and start sending people just comments, just right, just attack people,
No,
just
I
like
don't think that. I don't think he
give
did that.
me
I
push-ups.
think the scientists do that, bro.
Let's not talk about the scientists, bro.
I don't think Rob do that. I
Let's
think
not-
Rob be at home cleaning his guns and get bored, bro, and just get on the internet and start harassing people.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure the last conversation we had was him threatening my life with all those guns that he had. So we haven't talked much since then.
bro. Listen, I saw Rob at that point in time, bro.
Cause you gotta disregard that, Steven. He was. I think that
If
was
you
pre-stroke Rob.
if you saw Rob like pre-stroke, bro, and you saw him with a gun in his hand, you should be more afraid that his wrist might shatter
Hey,
if he fired.
real talk. He stopped talking to me for like a year and a half. Pre-stroke,
He
we
said
had
he
a
got 1,000 yards.
Bro, we was talking about something. And I asked him about something to like for clarification, and he thought that I was questioning like his breathing acumen or whatever that shit. So he's fucking Keno hung up the phone. His ass didn't call me for like 18 months.
That's
We got some characters in the Chondro community.
yeah,
I'm sure
man. We
you
got
saw. I don't know if you guys seen that we've been getting some legal letters been sent out lately. That's fun.
Hey, scientific proportions, scientific proportions.
we done,
Have you got any control experiments you got over there, Saltzman, that will qualify you as being a scientist? Any scientific methods
we
that you
not
would like to
gonna
bring to the Green Tree Python community?
This is not good.
What?
Listen,
I'm just asking because look, Steven Saltzman got a lot of snakes over there. So when you do that, I'm sure you made multiple theories about each of these snakes. Have
I
you have
uh,
you have you
I used
bred
to
some
work
of these
in
snakes?
I used to work in research and development in pharmaceuticals for a while. Does that qualify
Right.
me? Okay.
Yeah. So right. So you
All
got a
right.
you got a controlled experiment with a lot of snakes over there. So that's what I'm trying to see. We're really trying to dig into the science part of green trees.
Right. I mean, I gotta get on his level there.
oh man, I don't understand how we keep coming back to this. Well, we gotta keep talking about these fucking letters.
What you mean? What you mean? You got a nice love letter, you know?
A lot of people don't know about that.
One person sent out multiple love letters to a lot of people. The whole state. The whole damn
Hey,
state.
you gotta be proud to be a Texan, I guess. I guess. Oh man.
Experiments.
but yeah, man. I think that over time we all kind of
Right,
run
Derek.
across some people that may not necessarily be people that we gel with. That's just part of it. I feel like you got more of that, Steven, only because you had to like
Administer
you
so
had
many people.
yeah, you had to deal with so many people. And like
Yeah.
I've heard people over the years like call out Steven Saltzman. I'm just like, I've never had a bad. I've only had one interaction with him, so I was like, I've never had a bad interaction with him. So,
I tell
but
people
it was
all the
always
time,
on the
I ain't never,
Facebook stuff.
me and Steven ain't never had smoke with each other. We didn't talk. He didn't go back. He didn't send me people to buy from when I first got in. So it's like,
Here we go with the
I think a
fucking
lot of times with
conversation.
this Green Tree Python stuff too is like people want you to like, okay, so I don't like this person, so I don't want you to like this person.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
grown man. You disagree with that man, that's on you. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
Also,
society in general though these days.
that does come into effect, man. You know, I feel like we probably could benefit from a dose of just, you know, some more togetherness at the moment, helping each other out, talking to each other.
Or putting the
Just,
boxing gloves on.
I mean, you know, but you gotta also understand, bro. Like, you know, as well as I know, there's a lot of people who not gonna put them gloves on with you. They just not gonna do it. They just not gonna do it. and they gonna say whatever the fuck they feel like saying. So once you get to be our age, man, you just gotta realize, man, that shit's not really
Patrick,
worth
you a
it.
scientist too. You got like
You gotta
300
stop
states.
it.
You're a scientist.
You stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Watch out, you guys are gonna get your letters too.
I didn't get one. I wasn't lucky. I wasn't lucky enough to get one. So thank you. Please don't send me a letter, sir.
You must have not talked enough shit.
Oh, oh yeah, man. It's too late for that, Steven. Oh man, I believe it at that.
No, you're right. I did get on the people's bad side because I had to run the group, and I had to just make decisions on what I thought was best for the group versus the individual, and that doesn't always sit well with the individual, but it's what I have to do as an admin of the group. 30,000 people in the group, You're just
Yeah,
one person. You're not 30,000. You're not actually a god. You're just one person. So cool it is.
yeah. I remember at one point in time I
I'm not
had to
doing no
wait.
kickboxing with you, Pat. I don't want to get in that tournament. I'm sorry. No, thank you.
I remember I had to wait to get one of my posts approved, and I thought it was personal. Somebody was just like, "Nah, man, you just gotta get approved." I was like, "All right," because I didn't know who approved them anyway.
We can do regular boxing, Pat, but not kickboxing. I don't want you to break my legs.
Oh no,
I'm good on that shit.
I don't want to fight Pat. Pat real small.
Yeah, no, I'm not
And
doing
muscular
that.
at the same time. You'd be like fighting Texas Tony Jaa. I'm not fucking fighting Pat. Nobody back
I'm gonna hit him. You remember China back in the day? Hit it with the China.
What version are we talking about? Like China when she was wrestling, or like China when she was on Pornhub? China.
Come on, bro. No diddy, bro. Dang,
Wow.
stop it, man.
Wow.
All right, Steven. You got anything you want to say before we get up out of here, man?
Swinging steady, Pat.
To all my friends and family out there, everyone that supported me, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. My wife, my mentors, you guys. Thanks for having me on.
We glad to have you, man.
I love the community. I love the people. I love the animals. If you ever need help or have questions, hit me up, Cosmic Chondros, or hit me up in the Green Tree Python page on Facebook.
I got one more question. Two more. What's the difference? What's the age gap between your oldest boy and your newborn? Well, not a newborn now, but like he's like a year old now, right? That wasn't it. You can kiss my
13
ass.
years.
13 years, okay. How was it having to reset again?
I mean, honestly, I had my first one at 19, so I've been a parent my entire adult life. It wasn't anything new. It was just resetting the clock. But, I love my son and I'm super happy. And this time around, it's a lot different because the first time I was young, I was poor, I was grinding, it was hard. This time I'm settled,
raising a kid.
Life is good, and I can really enjoy it. This is definitely a different experience this time around.
Yeah.
Fatherhood is a beautiful thing, man.
I had my kids back to back, and that made me realize I need to go get the main vein cut, so I can't make more kids. Yeah.
What was that other question?
The second one was how was the recalibration? Like it was 13 years for me. I asked that because me it was almost 10 years, so it was right around the time that my son started getting independent. So I was able to do stuff, like grown stuff, and then
get it cut. TPC, get that vein.
It was boom, and then I was like, oh shit, gotta restart this over again. So we had to kind of recalibrate.
Yeah, but I got to do it a totally different way the second time around. So
for sure,
it's been fun.
For sure, you more prepared. You got that seasoning on you. Yeah.
Not stressed.
Got a couple gray hair, so a little bit.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate Mr. Saltzman for stepping into the bar tonight with us and kicking it, man. It was a good time.
You got to get snipped too, huh?
Yeah, TPC, go get it, Smith, bro. Like you don't really
Hey,
want to get
Steven,
that
next time I'm
confused,
gonna be
bro.
on time. Steven, next time
I
I'm gonna be on time, dog.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I am gonna be on time. And look, what we're gonna do is you're gonna have to tell the next episode. You're gonna tell the wife, look, wife, you're gonna have to, throw this episode away because we're gonna get into some majority,
We're not gonna get into midget.
high
It's probably a
class.
good thing that you didn't have enough time
We're
to talk
gonna
about
get into some
midget.
high class people that's in between like 2'5" and
No, we're
4'3".
not. That's been us for the CBR tonight. Shout
High
out to
class
everybody
little
that
people talk.
watches.
Shout out to
Shout
all our
out
little people out there in the Chondro Bar
Shout
Room.
out to the midgets that Keno just, routinely offends and fetishizes. And it was a good time, man.
Keno love y'all.
So show some support to Steven Saltzman going forward. And that's it for us. Peace out,
Hey, go
y'all.
follow Cosmic Chondros and don't forget that code. That
Yeah.
code, Chondro Bar Room.
And we need a new video, Chris.
Go get perched up. The
All right,
Reverend's
guys.
coming up.